Hello everyone. Right, today the eagle-eyed among you will know what this box means. These are very common boxes for these guitars. Now I'm going to open this. I've got to be honest, this guitar I've not bought from overseas, shall we say, for now. I bought it locally. It came out for a very good price. And I was intrigued. I've heard a lot about these. I've had a lot of these guitars on and off over the years. And some are great, some are very poor. But I'm hoping, let me look at that, this one will be a good one. I just wanted to review them again. I've heard that the new ones are coming out as very good. Look like the older, as you can see. Let's get this out of the box properly. There you go. You see the headstock. It's a Chibson. See that? Slash model. AFD model. Appetite for Destruction, I believe it stands for. Wrong knobs on it straight away. But just by looking at it straight away, I can tell these are no longer domed. The stop bar screws are normally domed. Their bridge looks quite good. That looks Epiphone to me. Epiphone as in not fake Epiphone, actual Epiphone Chinese parts. Zebra pickups. They're normally terrible, very weak and microphonic. Here's the trapezoid fretboard. The Les Paul standard bell that covers the truss rod isn't right. The Gibson logo isn't right, but it's close. They're both close, much better than they used to be. And the slash emblem is very good. You can already tell the tuners are too small to be original Gibson tuners. But let's get out of the box and have a proper look at it. Right, well, let's say out of the box, let's have a proper look over it. The tiger stripe is beautiful. There's not a flaw on that. Not so beautiful. Poker chip isn't quite nice. I've seen them actually lately on Gibsons when I get them in set up. I think it's because they sell them on eBay now. But let's start at the bottom anyway. The knobs there, see that volume knob there for the neck pickup is slightly out of alignment, which is and right level with that stop bar, which is a classic Epiphone sign. So I would say this body was the same as an Epiphone body. They must be cut out using the jig, so they're all wrong. So the stop bar, like I say, it's got flat tail screws. And the bridge there is nice. Looks like Epiphone stuff, just classic, like not fake, just Chinese Epiphone stuff. The knobs are wrong, like I said. They're wrong. They should be gold with a silver top on for the slash model. The pickups, like I say, I'll have to check them out. They're normally very weak and microphonic, which will be bad for this guitar for the amount of gain you need on it. Especially if you're playing, you know, slash riffs or Guns N' Roses songs. That's going to feed back like horrible. But we'll check those out soon. The frets look lovely. I mean, over the binding, they look lovely. They're not at all sharp. There's no sharp frets on there. So they've been dressed quite well. The nut's cheap. Plastic, looks like an Epiphone nut. Hasn't been cut too bad. Les Paul bell covering, the truss rod covering is wrong, but it looks alright, looks quite decent. The screen printed slash motif is done well. The Gibson is better than some that I've seen, or most that I've seen, especially the older ones. So that ain't too bad. And look down the binding. Yeah, there's binding the guitar. That's done really well, the binding. Really well. Even where it meets the body, it's done well. Strap buttons are good. They're quite high quality ones. They're normally terrible, but they're better. The binding is beautiful around it. Oh, the drop camber there. yeah, binding's lovely. Done a really good job on the binding. We'll take out the side of the neck as well. That's all lovely. The nuts sit straight, which is often a problem. They normally sit wonky. But yeah, overall, first impressions, that's lovely. Like I say, that tiger flame or tiger stripe, I know it's just a veneer, but it's done very well. The colour is a lot more yellowy than it looks even on my phone filming this. It's a lot more yellow. It looked very orange in the picture and all before I picked it up, but it's a lot more yellow than orange. But it has got that orange vibe to it. But let's turn the guitar around. In the back, looks lovely as well. These panels are much better than they used to be. They used to be really flimsy. They're quite strong. They're like Epiphone ones again. I think, like I say, this is very much an Epiphone or an Epiphone. I've put a video up about Epiphones and the signs you need to look for. You can see here where the paint's gone off the binding, see that? But that's no big deal. I've seen this on Epiphones as well. But it's done really well. I mean, you could pick holes in it. It's not up to the standard of a Gibson, even though I've seen some pretty poor Gibsons over the years. But this is not up to the standard of a Gibson. It doesn't even feel like a Gibson in the hand. It feels more like an Epiphone, but a high quality Epiphone. It's got a joint there in the wood. I don't know if that's coming out in the heel there. But there's no scarf joint in the neck. That's all one piece. Right up to there. Now, the tuners say Gibson tuners, but they're not. They're normally pretty rubbish. That serial number, pay no attention to that. That will mean nothing. That's pretty well on every guitar they put out. But yeah, they're normally pretty poor, these. But I've been told they're better now. So, we'll see. But the overall finish of the guitar is lovely. Now, a lot of people are saying it's solid mahogany. Now, it may be solid mahogany. It's normally like quite a poor grade of mahogany they use, if they even use mahogany. And some people are saying it's a one-piece body. Well, I'll try and film it for you a bit in a minute, or I'll put a picture up of it where I can see the joints. That's two pieces. One, it's obviously got a maple cap on the front and a veneer on the back, that's all. So it's not a one piece, it's two, this one. But that's the only joint I can see. But let's turn it back round again. But as I say, first impressions, fantastic. It does need a bit of work already. I can spot just by holding it and playing it. It needs some truss rod adjustment on it, which is nothing major. But I'll go through what I need to do on it. I want to keep this as basic as possible. There's lots of videos out there that, you know, put $100, $200 pickups in a Chibson and whole new electrics, etc., etc. You know, real bridges, real things. But I think it's pointless, you know, buy a real one. These are coming in there, really. By the time you've paid your import taxes and everything, and your postage on them, you'd be lucky to get one for less than $350. And that's a risk that it doesn't get seized. And some of the sellers there are not paying out on the seized ones because they don't really want to send them here. They won't send them as a gift. So you get a lot of problems. There's still a lot of places you can buy them. DHS Gate and AliExpress. But they're really hit and miss. You know, really hit and miss. I think all the good sellers now really are not really on them sites anymore because they get too much hassle. And I think they can sell them in America and other places that are easier to get them in. Australia, you know, it's only 2-3 day wait. Here it's about a 6-week wait. Comes by EMS mail, which is not the greatest shipping company. And like I say, you're looking at about £350 all told. Might be lucky to get just under that, but not a lot under. And if you start changing pickups, stop bars, tuners, etc., etc., electronics and all the rest of it, then really, you know, you're going into a second-hand Gibson price. You know, not a classic maybe, like this is supposed to be, or a standard. But definitely a studio. So anyway, like I say, I'll go through this and hopefully this won't need a lot of work. It looks lovely at the moment, but it all depends on how it sounds. If you want a guitar that looks good on the wall and you're a Slash fan, then get this guitar. It's fantastic. If you want it to play, however, let's wait and see what it needs doing to it, if anything. But first impressions, 1,000 times better than the Chibsons of old. Well, I plugged it in and tuned it up. And I must say straight away, these pickups are better than what they used to be. And the other ones I've had, like the older models. Okay, so that's definitely a bonus. Here's the neck pickup. I've got quite a clean sound, bit of crunch to it. Because I want to roll it off in a moment and see how it cleans up. Middle. There's not a lot of difference. I don't know where it's coming across there, but the middle position is not a massive difference tonally than the neck. Yeah, not a lot of difference there. It still sounds nice, but that would indicate that this pickup is possibly a bit hotter than the bridge pickup. Massive difference with the bridge pickup, tonally. Standing tune, lovely, a lot better. These tuners are normally rank, but yeah, standing tune really well. And I've had this for, I picked it up Saturday, it's now Monday, and it stayed in tune all weekend, so I'm pleased with that, very pleased with it. But I'm going to roll this back now, a little bit. And it doesn't, there's no clearing up of it really, so I think the pots are probably rubbish. These are, obviously, I think I've not opened it yet, but I should think they're going to be the mini pots that they use. Not that mini pots are bad, okay, I'm not one of these people that go, oh, mini pots, you've got to have full size CTS pots. If you get 500k nice mini pots, like Bourne ones, for instance, they can work really well, and I think I'll be changing them for that, because it's just not that smooth. That's all. You get a better smoothness on the 500k pots. These are probably, this might be 250k, but where they are, they're going to be cheap pots, so I'll be changing them over. I think rather than the pickups. The pickups, not that microphonic either. A little bit, but not massively. They're certainly not wax parted. But I'll try there with some gain on it and see how that turns out. Now I've put distortion on this. Can you hear how muddy it is? That's definitely the pots. Definitely. They want to come alive. See how muddy? I don't know how well that's coming across. Very muddy. It wants to. That really wants to come through, but I think these pots are killing it. So it's definitely going to have to be addressed, them pots. So I'm not really going to give it much of a sound test with the distortion, because there's not a lot of point. Like I say, it's muffled. It sounds really muffled, and I think that'd be corrected by changing those pots and possibly the capacitors. Okay, but as a sound test, like I say, much better than before. The pickups are definitely there. They're definitely there. It's really microphonic now, but you're going to get that with them. Like I say, you could put Seymour Duncans in there, you know, $200 or £200 Seymour Duncans in there. Zebras, or burst buckers, but, you know, the money you're going to spend, what's the point? I want to keep this basic, but I think that can be improved upon just by probably changing them pots over. Okay, but that's the end of the sound test. Like I say, it's quite good at the moment. I'm quite happy with it, very happy with it. It feels okay. The truss rod needs adjustment. I can see that already. If I look down the guitar, I can see it does need a little adjustment, which I'll be doing. The frets are nice and smooth. There's nothing overhanging the binding here that cut your fingers that you can get on some Epiphones. And obviously on Chibson. So it's all quite good. The nut's quite straight, like I said. The tuners are alright. They're staying in tune. And I'll give it a good setup, and it's only going to improve it. Okay, but there is a list of things that I'd like to do to it, and we'll get to that shortly. Okay, but as the first impressions go, fantastic, really good, really, really nice. I'm really surprised. Gibson Slash, made by Chibson. Okay, so here it is now on my bench. We'll have a proper good look at it now. As you can see, like I say, the paint goes up on the binding there. Around the edges and some, I'm not sure how it's coming through, it could be very faded. See it around the edge? So there are imperfections. I mean, it looks nothing like the Gibson one that it's supposed to, but it is a lovely colour, I must say it. Now, these knobs are different. They're wrong. That's the correct knob that should be on this guitar, so I may change them out. I'm going to change the pots as well, so I might as well change the knobs and get it accurate. Like I say, lovely stop bar and a bridge there. The pickups, like I say, they're very good. They are really good, but I think it's to do with the pots. They're a bit muddy when you add loads of distortion to it, which you're obviously going to want to do if you're a fan of Slash. You're definitely going to want to do that. So I think I've got to change them pots. They're obviously not 500k pots, so I'll put some 500k pots in there. The thing is, if I put CTS pots in there, I've not opened the back yet, but I'm sure the holes will be too small and I'll have to drill them out, which I don't really want to do. I don't like doing that. You can get cracks in the lacquer, so it's so cheap. You've got to be really careful. So I'll probably buy some mini pots, but 500k ones, nice ones, Bonds, something like that. And then I'll get that up and running. The fretwork on this is very good, but I've noticed there are a few high frets, but we'll come to that when we do it. I've also noticed that this truss rod needs adjusting. That could have been the extreme temperatures on the way over, or someone's just adjusted it. The man I bought it off said that he's only played it twice out of the box, so I shouldn't think he's adjusted it, and he was an elderly man, say elderly man, he was in his 60s, so I shouldn't think he's played it much. He had a few for sale. Get a bit of tissue off there, a bit of polystyrene. But like I say, the Gibson logo is wrong, but it's not a bad one. It's all screen printed. This is done very well. The machine heads on it were very good. Kept in tune, and I've had it over the weekend, and I tuned it up on the Saturday when I got it with the strings on it. I think he's changed the strings. I don't think they're the Chinese strings. And I tuned it up, and I played it again today, which is Monday, and it's still banging tune, so that's quite good. And I've been playing it quite a lot off and on. I mean, it's got some lovely sustain on it, and the fretboard's lovely. The fretwork's done really well. Couple of high frets in areas, so we'll have to address that. The nut's very good. Like I say, it's not a bone nut. I was going to put a bone nut on this, but I think for what it is, it's a bit of a waste. You might as well just leave it as it is, but it's all cut okay-ish. That's a bit off to the wonk, but it's not badly cut. I mean, you could put a new nut on it, but I don't know. I don't want to do too much to it. I want to do this so if you're thinking of getting one, or you do end up with one, then it's not a total loss. So I don't want to do too much to it, you know. I don't want to say you have to take it into a luthier and spend loads on it. I mean, you could put a bone nut in it, you could put Seymour Duncan pickups in, you could put CTS pots in, you could change the Gibson machine heads, but then, you know, what you're getting into £400-500 plus the guitar, you're looking at, you know, you might as well buy a Gibson. So this, I want to keep it cheap. So these little jobs that I'm going to do on it, I want to be able to show you how to do them so you can do them yourself. And if you've got a Chibson, any Chibson, not just this model, you can make a real difference to how it sounds. It's going to be really simple, the jobs to do. And I don't think it needs a lot. Like I say, I'm not even going to change the machine heads. I mean, let's turn it round for you and get a closer look. I mean, the switch is fine on it, but they're marked up as Gibson, but they're not. But they're very good. I mean, plasticky, but they're very good. They're keeping you tuned. That's all you need. I'll say the next on lovely. The back panels are lovely. I've even got these back panels, tortoiseshell, but they look crap, so I'm not going to bother with them. But there's no need to upgrade. See, there's no need to upgrade a lot of it, so I don't think it's going to need a lot of work. There's like a dent here, but it's not been banged, it's just where it's been machined. You'd never get that on a Gibson, but I have seen that on a Epiphone before, on a few Epiphones. Like I say, so let's pause this a second. The radius, I don't know whether you can see that, of that headstock bend is wrong. It's not as dramatic as a Gibson or an Epiphone. So it's been machined, that bit of wood, by hand, I'd say, and it's not been done great. But like I say, I could pick holes in this all day, but it's not a £2,000 guitar. It's a £300 guitar, £350 at top. Really, it's a £100 guitar, probably less when they make them. But I mean, you'd pay £500 for this in a shop. You know, it's as good as a £500-600 Epiphone that I've played. As good. I mean, bit muddy, so the pots let that down, I'm sure of it. But we'll get to it anyway. I can babble on for ages. Like I say, I could point out loads of things wrong with it, but I could on an Epiphone. I could on Gibsons. You know, they're not made to the highest standard anymore. But for the money, brilliant. And if you're a fan, even better. So, let's put a list up of what I'm actually going to do. And then in the next video, we'll start it.